After a massive win for the USC Trojans over the Iowa Hawkeyes, could they have a recruiting win from this past weekend as well? Let's get into it. Hey, what's going on, Trojan family? Welcome to the USC LAFB show. I'm your host, Ryan Dyrud on the LAFB network. Thank you, as always, for making this a part of your day. Huge win for our Trojans on Saturday over the Iowa Hawkeyes in a rainy, slimy, sludgy, muddy conditions. It was a fantastic win, a great atmosphere, great experience, and a lot of good came from it. Thank you all of you who watched our live reaction right from the field of the Coliseum. And for all of you that joined us on Sunday for Victory Sunday Call-In Show, spoke to a lot of you. It was awesome. And let's keep that thing growing. But I wanted to get on here today because a lot of recruits and commits were in the building to witness what the USC Trojans were able to do specifically in that second half. And it really resonated well for a lot of these, hopefully, future Trojans. One specifically that I want to bring up is the number 2 linebacker in the 2027 class, Kaden Henderson. He is out of the state of Florida. Like I said, the number 2 linebacker in the nation in Rivals industry rankings. He's the number 26 overall player in the Rivals 300 2027 class, the 4th rated player in the entire state of Florida. And good visit here for Henderson with the Trojans. He spoke with Steve Wiltfong of Rivals and said, and this is, I think, really an interesting tidbit about how USC is not only approaching his recruitment, but how big of a player this could be for the future if he were to sway towards the Trojans. He says, I think they haven't had a premier linebacker in a long time, and they think that I can honestly be the next number 55 for their program. Now, Trojan faithful obviously know how big of a deal the 5-5 club is. It's a very exclusive club. The Trojans have not had a number 55 in over a decade. They don't just give it to anybody. It has to be earned and respected by the past gentlemen and players and athletes that wore the 55, and also by your current team and coaching staff and fan base. So it is a huge honor to be bestowed that number. You know, and I don't mean this in any disrespect, but Penn State, I can't remember the number. It's a single digit. Is it 9? Someone will correct me in the chat. Please do. But there is a number with Penn State that usually the best defensive player, usually it's a linebacker, an edge, will wear. And kind of it's a really premier and prestigious club as well. But based on what I know, again, if I'm wrong, correct me. I don't know Penn State lore as much as USC, but it seems to be every year that number gets passed. So if someone is, say, Micah Parsons, that number, once he then goes on to the NFL, someone next year gets bestowed upon that number and kind of takes over that lineage. You know, it's still a huge honor. Usually it is still one of the top defensive players in the country. But the 55 club is not like that. Like, it does not happen every year. Like I said, it's been over a decade, so it is a big deal. And USC and the culture of the program, and specifically the culture of the defense, I think has been starving for another 55. Now, I don't want to get too ahead of our skis. I still believe that, you know, we could see that even before Henderson. I think, you know, the young freshman Matai, 44. He's 44 right now. He's gotten some reps this season. Local kid from San Clemente. Like, I think he could maybe slip into that conversation of the next 5-5. He plays fast. You know, we'll see when he puts some more weight on him, but maybe that's a conversation. It's not being talked about right now, but maybe. I think Talanoa Ely is a huge potential next 5-5. You know, obviously he's at Kahuku in Hawaii right now, but SoCal kid. His father, Glenn Ely, is super involved and knowledgeable of the SoCal high school scene. So I think he's someone that A, has elite ball skills and could be an elite backer, but could potentially be in that conversation. But the fact that they are talking to Kaden Henderson in that realm tells you how good they think this kid is and how much they want him. If you're dangling that 55, that just shows how bad you want him and how bad Rob Ryan wants him in the system. He goes on to say the win shows how they can overcome these tough games. Excited to see how they play next week. Obviously referring to the game up in Oregon. So again, I think this is a big recruiting mission. I think Rob Ryan has clearly done a really good job in recruiting linebackers. There's been some talk that while it seemed like a home run hire, there's been some, including on this network, like we've said, like, well, maybe there was, coaching NFL is very different than coaching and developing from high school to college. It's just different. Like once guys get to the NFL, they're pros. You still have to help them hone their craft, but they've received a lot of the prior coaching that at least gets them ready for the NFL. When you're coaching at college, like you're taking some high school kids that got minimal coaching. There's some really good high school coaches out there, but there's also some that are like math teachers that do it for an extra $1,000 stipend a month to go out at practice and kind of, hang out and maybe coach a position here and there. They're not exactly all world position coaches. Some are for sure. And some of the top programs are, but some are not. And so once they get to that collegiate level, like you are really specifically involved in the development of those players. And since Rob Ryan has been in the NFL for so long, it's been so long since his collegiate days, there may have just been kind of a growing curve there. And the development curve of getting back into, okay, it's not that he doesn't know football. It's not that he doesn't know how to coach linebackers. It's not that he doesn't know the X's and O's. It's not that he doesn't know how to teach physicality. I think there was just maybe a learning curve for him to kind of get back into the college ranks of coaching style. And I think we're seeing these backers currently develop every single week. So while it maybe didn't happen as quick as everyone would have liked, or we needed it to happen, it's happening now. And I think Rob Ryan is a fantastic coach. And I think that kind of talk can start to go away because we're seeing it. And Kaden Henderson is a guy that believes that as well. And Rob Ryan's name obviously speaks volumes. He also spoke with 24/7 Sports, told Tom Loy, I spent most of my time talking with Rob Ryan. I do think they've had a premier linebacker in a long time, kind of goes into a very similar conversation there. But he also says, my favorite moment from the trip was watching the linebackers get after it in the second half. Their linebackers were swarming to the ball and giving relentless effort and energy. Goes on to say, just being in one of the most, if not the most popular cities in America, it gives me access to many opportunities. Sorry, my page just keeps reloading here. To many opportunities, all while we are fighting to win a national championship. Now, USC with a player of this caliber is obviously fighting off the known commodities, Oregon, Ohio State, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Notre Dame, Florida State, obviously his in-state schools. So it is going to be a battle to get him, but they are certainly now in somewhat of a driver's seat after a fantastic visiting weekend. So we'll see how they continue that trend, how Rob Ryan, how I guess committed he will be to staying on Henderson in his recruitment. Because you think of Talanoa Ely and Sean Scott in this 26 class. And then if you're able to add someone like Henderson in the 27 class, you all of a sudden are stacking a lot of talent at the linebacker position. And it's just going to continue to get better instead of like having to have, redshirt sophomores play like we're seeing this year. You're going to have that development stage happen for a year or two, take over as redshirt sophomores, and then they're ready to go, and they'll get that experience, and it's just going to be passing down the line. So big recruit to go after. Also want to mention Jaden Upshaw, one of the top receivers who visited 27 class. He told Steve Wiltfong of Rivals, I'll say they definitely fought hard until the end and came out with the win, and they definitely stayed locked in. And I'll say just being able to come in and making plays and keep the history going on with the Whiteouts, they had come through there. Upshaw added, the culture and history is there. And it catches eye. Phoenix Evans, the number 7 2028 cornerback in the Rivals class, he left with an offer. So USC offered a cornerback in 28. Today's win just shows the grit that USC have to find ways to come out on top. My favorite thing about my opportunity to become a Trojan would be just being part of history and adding my name to the list of all the legends who played there. So massive weekend for USC. I think we're going to see a 27 commit here happen soon. Obviously, this game in Eugene is massive. I think they've done enough, honestly, in my opinion, this year. And again, we'll do more videos about, college football playoff aspirations. That's obviously another conversation. But in terms of 2026 recruiting, I think they've done enough to really secure this 35-player class. Like, even a loss to Oregon is not going to, maybe, I'm not going to say all 35, maybe one or two they end up losing out on. But I think they've basically secured, with how this season has gone, the majority of the class all the way till signing day. So, but they'll have the opportunity now up in Eugene, because Dan Lanning and all the powers that be up in Oregon are going to put together a pretty massive recruiting list themselves next weekend for this game. And the beauty is, if you're the away team and you can come in and you can show physicality, you can show the culture, and you can, even if you steal a win out there, I mean, all those recruits are there visiting Oregon, but they're like, something's happening at USC. Something's going on down in Southern California. Something's going on in Los Angeles in the Coliseum that I want to be a part of. Yeah, I was here visiting Oregon, but I want to go visit USC now. If that's what they did up here on the road, I got to see what that home experience is like, what that campus is like. So huge opportunity for USC up in Eugene, and then obviously a big one at home against the UCLA, where they'll have another big recruiting list to finish off the regular season. But I want to give you a quick update. Kaden Henderson, that's the name to watch. We will have our eyes on him. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button here at the USC LAFB YouTube channel. You can become a member, helps us out financially. Huge support and huge thank you from me. Or you can go over to LAFBnetwork.com, check out our message board there. It's free to join, or you can join the community and become a member over there as well if you want to help support. Check out our merch. It's linked below right here on the YouTube channel or over on LAFBnetwork.com. Just go to the shop button in the menu. Thank you, family. We'll keep you posted and have plenty of USC content all week leading up to this massive game against Oregon. As always, fight on. Hey, Trojan family, thank you so much for hanging out and watching the USC LAFB show. Before you go, let me tell you quickly about our friends over at Sleeper. Go right now, download the Sleeper app. It's the #1 sports app, not just for season-long fantasy, but they've got live pickers, they've got live stat updates, they've got a chat. You can chat with other users, plus the daily pick'em, which is a blast, or daily fantasy, whatever you want to call it. You go and pick 2 to 8 players across any sports. If you're talking USC, go choose J.D. Mayav in his next matchup. Pick more or less passing yards, more or less touchdowns. You stack those, and you can win real money. When you go to make your first deposit, make sure you use our promo code USCLAFB. You're going to get a match deposit up to $100. Put in $100, you get $100 free to play with from Sleeper. Put in $10, they'll match you that $10, so now you're sitting at $20 to play with. But also, right now, for any new users, no deposit required. You get $20 free entry. You can stack both. You can get the $20 for free, go make a deposit, use USC LAFB, and now you've got a bunch of free money to play with right there on the Sleeper app. Check it out, Trojan family, and when you do, tell them the guys at the USC LAFB sent you.